Hello, I'm Bob Brown, and I'm the president of Cards Medical Research. And this is the second in my series of talks about diseases that don't exist. And since I'm not a doctor, I think it's okay for me to talk about a disease that doesn't exist and what could be done to make it go away. This is going to be about Gulf War syndrome. Topic, to be sure. There are two main aspects to Gulf War syndrome. One of them is radiological, and the other one is pathogenic. The radiological aspect might be able to be handled with niacin. There's a book called All About Radiation that was developed during the Cold War, and apparently niacin, not niacinamide, will bind to radioactivity in the body. And if you've ever taken niacin or seen anybody take niacin, after a few minutes the skin flushes red. This is caused by two things. The capillaries dilate, bringing blood close to the surface. It also brings the radioactivity that's inside the body, which in better times came from sunlight, and people will get very red and itchy around their exposed areas, their necks, their hands and wrists, ankles. So I think a regimen of increasing doses of niacin to keep the flush going will get out some of the radioactivity. The other aspect is if this was caused by a chemical, after all of this time the chemical would have been washed out of the body unless it's a heavy metal, and that doesn't seem to be happening. And that leads me to believe it's a living organism problem because it keeps reproducing. And since there are a lot of neurological effects, I would say it's probably a modified natural organism that was turned into a weapon, a more virulent form. We're seeing nerve damage and mental effects, and viruses love to hide in the nerves and in the brain. So what needs to be applied to this is the pleomorphic theory of disease. The regular disease theory is the Louis Pasteur germ virus theory, and the other theory is the pleomorphic, which means many forms, theory of disease.